In my last video, I mentioned to you guys PlayStation's leaked document where they said that their pillars are dated and behind the competition. In that video, I kind of titled the thumbnail, "Is PlayStation cooked?" And the answer to that is PlayStation themselves actually admit that they are kind of cooked. Well, I would say they're cooked because they say it, so we need to stick with that. If I went ahead and told you this and say, "Oh, trust me, bro," y'all would complain and say, you're making this stuff up. So I usually always lean, shout out to Jess Corden for actually being one of the, folk out here in the media that actually put the screenshot of this document. Now, keep in mind, many of these, documents are all over the place. It's just that this particular piece was the more headline worthy one. So they put it out there. In here, Sony says that its pillars are dated and behind the competition simply because Microsoft can supply multi-game subscription 50%. It can do, the deal of bringing games to console, about 50% of its business, and then PC 60%. So basically, Xbox is positioned, and with Activision, the strategic value increases. They even say it here. Activision provides an incredible strategic value across live service games, scale in mobile and PC storefront. And Microsoft is already sitting right there to go on and deliver, and also building a mobile game store to compete with Apple and Google. They're literally leapfrogging in the industry is what PlayStation said. This is PlayStation's analysis. Now, an audience member to that said, let's say that this audit, which is this document, is correct, which they say I don't think it was, but I'll buy it. Interesting that even PlayStation themselves are saying this is what we are, and you say you don't believe it. So PlayStation is saying something that we are going through, you're seeing it, and you say you don't want to see it. I have a feeling that there's some aspect of disbelief that you're exhibiting here that's quite strange, but it's okay. They said, what about Sony's pillars being dated leads you to believe that they're not the market leader? You don't think you can be behind in innovation, but up in the market, both things can be, and one doesn't necessarily equal the other. The reality is if you're behind in innovation in terms of technology, it's only a matter of time before you get exposed. Let me show you why. As of 4 years ago, I already believed this. I just didn't have enough information at the time. However, the positioning of Xbox was quite obvious to me that they were going to go in there and kick butt. Let me show you. Made a video. What is this? September 17, 2020. In the video, I said Xbox is winning a war. Sony isn't fighting. I kid you not. In that video, I talked a little bit about Xbox's ecosystem and how they were moving and advancing their technology and positioning themselves. Now, here's the challenge. Only 270 people watched that video. I made another video as well, years ago, around September as well, where I said Xbox is stronger than PlayStation 5. My reasons, because of the ecosystem that they were building. Then I made another video about Xbox's secret strategy, which was cloud. This video I made about 4 years ago as well. 154 views. It talked about the Xbox, cloud platform. And to that, if you read the comments, there were people who pushed back. Some people said, I hate PlayStation. Some people said, Sony was winning because of their exclusives. The same thing that you're saying now, or people are saying now, they were saying 4 years ago. I think what's happened is the media has basically disappointed a lot of PlayStation fans. When all this was going down, y'all just were not told what the reality was and what any flashpoint could trigger to pretty much put PlayStation behind, especially when PlayStation had maintained a perception that it was the market leader. It was just by perception. The market leader is usually the innovator. And when anything changes in the market, and it just happened to be a series of interesting events, and it's put PlayStation on the back foot. Event number one, the acquisition of Bethesda. At the time, PlayStation already kind of knew they were sort of cooked because they saw that Xbox had dropped $7 billion on an entire publisher, pretty much bringing an entire powerhouse into and under its wings. And because PlayStation was trying to money hat Starfield, they realized even much more that this game or whatever they were playing had backfired. It wasn't Activision that really did backfire everything. I think for sure it was Bethesda that started out kind of like that catalyst. And I was just sitting pretty, having made the videos years previously, even before the Bethesda acquisition, seeing how Xbox was positioned for cloud, like my video said, positioned for PC, like my video said, and positioned with Game Pass, like my video said. PlayStation eventually came out after the Activision acquisition where they realized, no way, our biggest game is going into this particular competitor's hand who is positioned to deliver it for profitability. That's why you see that PlayStation document. So whether or not you believe it, it is actually not so hard to fathom if you had been following the trend and not probably stayed comfortable like PlayStation wanted you to stay comfortable with. Now you have to think of Game Pass. Now you have to comment on a YouTube channel where they're actually talking about the news. Back then, most PlayStation fans could not even be bothered watching content like that. What do you mean? We have Last of Us Part 2, we have Ghost of Tsushima, we got the games, baby. That's pretty much what the reality was. Xbox did not have in terms of the kinds of games that PlayStation had to provide. However, it was building a library of other kinds of games more important, that are more profitable, that seemingly now is the games that PlayStation is seeking out, which are the live service games. PlayStation is seeking to make how many more? I think we got 10 in the pipeline, ladies and gentlemen, coming. Yeah. So positioning is a big deal. You may not see it as something that is expedient or immediate in terms of, its effect, but don't be fooled by it. Do not be fooled by positioning in the business world. You do not position yourself, you will lose. If your competitor grabs a hold of one small advantage over you with a better market position, you're done. I hope this is a lesson at the end of the day because, again, like I said, the media was just sleeping. I cannot believe it took, shout out to Destin for, everything that Destin has gone through in this whole thing with the Xbox tax and him just basically looking at his fellow IGN guy downplay Starfield and all of that stuff. It was interesting that it took a lot of these media personalities a long time to start seeing this stuff. Maybe their PlayStation bias had just been there. Believe you me, guys, at the time I was making these videos, didn't even have an Xbox. I think September, I still had my PlayStation 4. And then somewhere around there, did I have a PS5? I can't remember. I just remember PS5 being a blur. Once it came out, I remember me and my buddy running to go get one. Yeah, I think I had a PS5 or something like that. A PS4 or PS5. I didn't even own an Xbox. I was using Game Pass on PC. And I was already saying this stuff. In fact, it got so much, I was like, I got to explore this ecosystem. So I bought an Xbox Series X as something to just investigate further, just to see if truly my eyes were deceiving me. And if 4 years ago, this is something that a school teacher already figured out, guys, this is not rocket science. I think it's just a matter of just being misinformed or being led astray more than anything else. Anyone could have figured this stuff out if they were kind of looking at it from that perspective. And sad to say, even a lot of Xbox fans didn't even see this coming. Trust me. Many of them were just unnecessarily upset. Why is Game Pass a thing? Why don't they have exclusives? Yeah, it was not just PlayStation fans. It was also Xbox fans too, in many cases, not being satisfied with what was going on. Even till date, many Xbox fans still find a problem with Game Pass and Microsoft's business strategy. Even while Microsoft is dominating, even while Sony themselves with PlayStation is capitulating that they're behind, some Xbox fans are still not satisfied that they're sitting on the ecosystem that provides them the best value for games across the board. They are constantly falling trap into FOMO. I don't have what PlayStation has. If you want to play PlayStation games, just go buy a PlayStation or a PC. I mean, chill. I think sometimes they just make it such a big deal. Like, with the saturation of games in the market, I can't believe anybody will be worried about what PlayStation is actually bringing out. Really, it even shows. Even the PlayStation community is not even delving in to buy Marvel Spider-Man 2 at the same rate that they bought the first Spider-Man game. Yet someone on Xbox is worried about that. I mean, I guess that's a whole different conversation too. So, sir, to your question, what makes you think that innovation is something that can actually cause you to be a leader? Or, can you not be the leader and not be innovative? No, you can't. Sorry. This is not by brute force. That's one thing about a technological, standpoint. Brute force does not do it all. You really got to go out and you really got to change the game. And I think Xbox changed the whole conversation. They changed the rules. They changed everything simply by subverting all traditional expectations of what gaming should look like. And here they are, and they have the backing, they have the money, they have the pipeline, and now they have the game, the most important game to their competitor, going to their audience for basically a subscription fee. Have y'all seen the Call of Duty numbers on Steam? The day one launch of Call of Duty? Do you know how much more people are on Battle.net? Do you know how much people are on PlayStation? Do you know how much people are on Xbox? Do you know how many people are on Game Pass playing that? That is what PlayStation was afraid of. But they were looking at everything coming together right in front of them and did nothing. That's why their pillars are dated and behind the competition. I didn't say it, they did. So you could believe it or you could not believe it. I mean, I believe it. PlayStation is telling me, and I'm like, I believe you guys, because I kind of knew that, you know, you guys were basically in a position where you won't be able to even fight back because you weren't even fighting in that category before. You were busy money hatting games, blocking them from going to Xbox. Xbox was just looking at you and building around you. You didn't even know. Now you're surrounded. They got to respond one way or the other, man. Peace out.